just think how the days go by in the arms of a girl with the indigo eyes. You'll find she'll make you lose your mind in the arms of a girl with the indigo eyes. Dream on the tip of my tongue of spokes and the wheels and the web she spun. Looking too close, she turned me to stone. So neither one said what the other one hoped. Sweet, her kiss so dry, but the wine was bad by the time we tried. The reds were drawn, the whites did fly, but the wine filled up in her indigo eyes. On the tip of my tongue of spokes and the wheels and the web she spun. Turning her eyes, she looked pretty stoned. So neither one said what the other one wrote. There's flies in the kitchen. They came in through the window from the hole in the screen. No grass on the lawn. And the rain keeps pouring, and the steam keeps rising, and it's hotter than pavement on the 4th of July. So tell me, I'm the one that'll bring you down. Don't call me baby. Don't call me baby. 'Cause I'm thinking the same picture of you. Are you thinking the same picture of me? But you probably wouldn't ever tell me. Well, the sky's all around us, and there's wood on the fire. The music is playing, and we're getting high. Well, the mountains are peaking. Look in the window, the ocean is waving, waving goodbye. So tell me, I'm the one that'll bring you down. Don't call me baby. Don't call me baby.
All right. Woo! How's everybody doing?
Howdy.
Doing good.
Real good.
Remember, you got a big festive background behind you.
Yeah, it was Sage's birthday 2 days ago, and we've just kind of kept this this little mural we have here rolling, or what do you call that? Tapestry.
Very nice.
We had a cheetah theme because both of my daughters and my wife are cheetahs all the time, every day. And so we had a cheetah theme, and this is a pink cheetah. It's not it's a special cheetah. It's pink.
Pink and purple.
It's pink and purple. Sorry.
It's the tail and purple.
It's not one you find in the wild,
Yeah.
but it's
Pink
a
and
rare
purple.
breed.
These are her.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. How was everybody's holiday? We have a good time. White Christmas all around.
I had a white Christmas. It was incredible.
We had a semi-white Christmas. It snowed on Christmas Eve, but by the time we woke up, it was mostly just like, the floor was kind of just wet, but it was nice nonetheless.
Yeah, we had the full. It was raining most of the day Thursday, Christmas Eve. About 7:30, it was just a total front change. Went from rain coming from the left to rain coming from the right. Went for some cocktails at my neighbors who we'd been kind of quarantining with. By the time we came out that was about 6 o'clock. By the time we came out about 7:30, it was a full deep snow. We got a couple of inches. It was amazing. And it stuck Christmas morning when we woke up. It got really cold. It was one of those ones where it's kind of like icicles on the tree branches and on the bushes. The kids got to go sledding. It was pretty. And growing up, I grew up in New England, which we had a few white Christmases where like you got the snow Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Living in the South for a long time now, it's kind of like the pink cheetah, Trevor. Or the snow leopard. It's a rare
treat.
Rare find.
Yeah, but you're lucky when you come across a white Christmas in the South or a pink cheetah here in Austin.
For sure. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Trevor, I gotta say, I get the sneaking suspicion that your girls may be ready to watch the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
If they have not already, but
That's a good call. Thursday's movie night, so I guess that's New Year's Eve, so we might have to look into that. But Thursday's been movie night throughout the pandemic. We watched Soul on Christmas Day. Or I guess we did yesterday. That was a special.
We watched that yesterday too.
It was really good. What'd you think?
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I highly recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you know? I mean, John Batiste did a lot of the music, but it was Trent Reznor did all the stuff that was in the afterlife.
All the score.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Cool music. Really, Jamie Foxx is awesome and cool storyline.
Yeah.
We were surprised, a little over the head of a 3 and a 5-year-old, but they were still into it. We had popcorn. It was good.
Cool story.
Cool story.
Very cool.
Tonight we have something a little different. As you may notice, some of us are in different locations. We did a really great interview with our friend Laurie Gallardo from KUTX here in Austin a while back, and we talked about the record Stranger and played a bunch of songs live all together in the studio. We're going to dive into that in a minute. I'm trying to think if there's any other ground to cover. Jesse, well, does anyone have any good New Year's Eve plans? I know it's kind of an awkward time. It's kind of tough to go out for New Year's Eve, but maybe there's something else going on.
Well, I have to say, because it has been such a interesting and, different year, we have, as all the Good Time Supper Club fans and viewers have known, that we have been making these videos for everyone once a week, and we have a lot of them. And so we are going to present to you on New Year's Eve a kind of retrospective of the remote transmissions, and I will be hosting, and I'll give you guys some cocktail recipes like normal, and we'll get to watch the year through the eyes of the remote transmissions down to midnight. I don't know exactly the timing of it and how it'll work because I'm on Central Time, but we're going to get back to you on the specifics of it. But know that you'll have a pretty cool playlist to jam to as you're moving into the new year.
How many remote transmissions do we have done? 30?
I believe we have 30. 32? Trevor, you telling me 32?
I was guessing.
He's making indiscriminate hand gestures over there.
Well, I lost count because I was filling up my folder as I was getting this whole thing together, and I think we have at least 29.
Do you realize, just speaking of hand gestures, I know because Ed did a 3 on our Merry Christmas Day video last week. My father's side's all Swiss, and over there 3 is this. It's not this or this, but it's this. The thumb counts as 1. Just a fun little fact. 3. Eins, zwei, drei. Cool.
Hey, Carl Holmquist had a great idea. Remote transmission, New Year's Eve. We should have a vote of top 5 remote transmissions.
Maybe we can get the people to vote on those? Maybe.
Let's start tallying the votes. Go at it, people. Tell us your top 5.
What's your top 5 remote transmissions for the year?
Let us know your top 5
El
remote.
Paso City.
It's funny. I was kind of like trying to remember. I really couldn't remember. I was going back through the folder and I was like, oh, man, there's sections of it that I completely forgot about, which is good. That means we did a lot of them, which is cool.
Yeah, give us your top 5, or I mean, even if you don't have top 5, give us your favorites. Let's talk about it a little bit because it'll also help me. Just for the record, I'm not gonna go chronological. I don't think for this retrospective, it's not gonna be chronological. I think it's gonna be. We're gonna try to make it basically the best playlist that we could have that you want to party to. You know.
I'm getting a lot. I'm just looking at the comments. Lots of tumbling dice right out the gate. So that seems like that's going to be in there. Lots of tumbling dice. Our peeps love Nikki.
Should we dive into some the music here and an interview with Laurie Gallardo?
Yes.
Let's do that, Gordy.
Just so y'all know, we will all be on the comments, hanging out, chatting with you. So even though it looks like we're rocking out on the screen, we're actually sitting in front of a keyboard talking with you. So yeah, y'all let us know what you think. We're gonna dive in to this interview here. Are y'all ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
You know, I happen to like things a lot stranger myself. Stranger, did you hear that word? Hi, my name is Laurie Gallardo, and I have the absolute privilege of chatting with one of my favorite bands today because they've got a new album out titled Stranger. I'm going to dive deep, I promise, but you know what's more important? Hearing the new music. Give it up for Band of Heathens.
we rolling the dice. All the fate of the wonders in the hand of another. You can say hello or goodbye. We'll get down. We'll get by. We'll get out. Head in the clouds, in the clouds. While the sky is falling down. Head in the clouds, in the clouds. While the sky's falling down. Head in the clouds, in the clouds. While the sky's falling down. Head in the clouds, in the clouds. While the sky's falling
Rock and roll, straight up. It's Band of Heathens. Vietnorm. I got to tell you, just seeing the title of that one cracked me up. And I kind of dove into that one myself. And I'm like, yep, head in the clouds. I think I'm going to be there for a little bit, if you don't mind. Woo! We are in the studio with Band of Heathens. And, of course, we have it in the band. I'd like to introduce you to Ed Jurdy. We have Gordy Quist, Trevor Nealon on the keys there, Richard Millsap on the drums, and Jesse Wilson working the bass. Hot damn. Hi, guys.
Hey, Laurie.
Don't mind my enthusiasm, but I'm pretty excited. The name of the album is Stranger, and I promise you I'm going to be, like I said, I actually was a warning, I'm going to be nerding out, doing some deep dives into the actual tracks. But first, I wanted to say just how impressed I am with how you've been staying connected with your fans. Music lovers, period. This is such a trippy time, and I don't say that lightly, as well you know. But what a way to stay connected with the people who enjoy your music. You've been working extra hard. I don't have to tell you that either. But there are obviously huge changes going on during the time of COVID. And I wanted to ask you about that. There's this tremendous shift on the part of a lot of musicians saying, well, it's time for me to reinvent myself. And I know you've been doing a great series where you actually invite guests to be on as well, to not only perform, but again, keep those connections going. Tell me about this reinvention. Maybe it's nothing new to you, but this is something that is just drastically important. So, you know, again, taking a step that's going to say, all right, this is how we're going to keep going because we have to. Not because you want to, but because you need to.
Yeah, you know, when this whole thing came down, we kind of saw the writing on the wall that touring would probably not be around for a while, and we had this new record that we had already recorded, and I don't know, it was kind of like, well, what can we do? It was kind of the only option, and honestly, it was kind of an experiment at first, and we've been really shocked, I think, at how well the connectivity has actually worked. Like, we actually do feel connected to our people. We feel connected to each other. You know, every Tuesday night we do our live stream. I mean, we're usually on the stream an hour before it goes public and an hour afterwards, just hanging out and catching up. And it's like our time to be connected as a band, since we live spread out across the country. So yeah, it's real connection, surprisingly, you know, as artificial as it seems. It's been good for us.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Artificial. I don't know, when I see and hear you playing together, there's nothing artificial about it. I think when everyone knows each other, that's never going to go away. Yeah. And I think that's what makes, you know, at least for Band of Heathens, I'm like, that's the way to do it. And again, this is just a way that you have to do it. I mean, touring, I hear so many people talking about how much they miss being on the road. And I completely understand that. But this is one surefire way to let people know on the outside, we're still here, we're still going. Some badassery is afoot. Stay tuned for the new album. That's exactly what you did. So well done, and well done on the live stream series. I wanted to tell you.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan.
Well, it's a thing where it's like you said, nobody really knows when touring's going to return, and so much of what we do. I mean, we love being in a studio and making records and sort of having this insular relationship with our music. But then once you put a record out in the world, and it really becomes everyone's record. So then touring is the only vehicle in which you can sort of have that connection, and with that just being eliminated, it's like this was the only thing that can like even potentially try to fill the gap. You know? So we're all just doing, we're just doing the best we can, everybody, trying to stay connected.
It is survival mode.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone
Yeah,
says.
absolutely.
It's survival.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? You got the music to back it up. Awesome. Even better.
Thank you.
The name of the album is Stranger, and trust me, I'm holding back right now because I'm really going to get into that in just a bit. But I just wanted to keep talking, especially about working with a new producer. Now, I did get wind of that. I want to hear all about that because, again, to me, it also relates to this shift, the massive changes going on. What was it like being with a new person? How do you think that affected your style? If it did, what kind of differences have you been hearing in terms of your creativity and putting the music together? What do you think you've been hearing?
Well, I can speak for myself, but it was kind of a cool thing to get to go and work with Tucker Martin, because before COVID hit, we were getting into the studio pretty much monthly for the last year and a half before we made the record. And we were trying to get into the studio every month for a couple days and work out ideas, and so we had spent a lot of time just kind of forming arrangements and stuff, and so we were going in there with a pretty full briefcase of stuff, and so getting to open it up with Tucker, who just already has his thing dialed in his room. It was a cool mesh because it's like a lot of the work had already been done on both sides, but it made it for a pretty fun, easy lane change.
Yeah.
It was really cool, and Tucker is just his work speaks for himself. I think.
Tucker's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what a roster. I mean, I just started with My Morning Jacket, went to the Decemberists, and these are bands that are not really exactly alike. I mean, he's just, he can go all over the map. But how do you think, though, in terms of, I mean, does Band of Heathens define itself by a certain sound? I just go, rock and roll, but that's a blanket term. How was it working with someone like Tucker? I mean, have you heard any differences? Do you think that there's anything different lately, or especially with the new music?
I think Tucker adds kind of a sensitivity and a beauty to the records that he works on, a cinematic soundscape that's really layered and beautiful, and it's something that we're all into. And I think for us it was just kind of like, hey man, this guy does awesome work. We love these records. Let's shake things up, go to a city that we kind of feel like we don't have any connections to as far as family or friends, and let's just isolate ourselves and do this. I think the song choices, he had a kind of a strong say in what songs ended up on the record and which ones we recorded, because we went up there with a bunch of songs and he kind of chose the ones we were going to record, and then it was whittling it down even more to the ones that made the record. So I think that was kind of a big way that he shaped the record. But as far as the way we define our sound, we call it rock and roll, but I don't think we have a sound in mind that we feel like we have to stick to. Honestly, the other day someone was talking about whether we're a purist in genres, and I feel like we're absolutely not purists. So we're always actually kind of looking for ways to change things up and make it different and combine things. So that's kind of our goal, going up there with Tucker.
How exciting, and how wonderful to be able to trust him. Be like, okay, you know what? You're helping us pick the songs for the album? Fine with me. Yeah. That's badass, actually. Oh, I'm like, decisions. You know what? I think we're going to go into another song. Would you all mind doing another one for me?
Sure.
And I'm thinking of, it's up to you, but Call Me Gilded.
Cool. Yeah. I'm going to move a mic.
All right, do that. And meanwhile, going to remind everybody the name of the album is Stranger. I am in studio with Band of Heathens, having lovely chats and, of course, badass music. How many times can I say badass? Well, just leave it to me. It's kind of easy here and today, I must say.
Talk is cheap, words a dime a dozen, heart still hangs on every line. The fallen man will be written in a wordless headline, streamed over cloudless sunny sky. If silence is golden, call me gilded. I am quiet in love, my heart beats what you speak of. For love I can show, but may fail to tell you so. If love remain unheard, may it be known. I saw a man, couldn't speak his mind, he lost in starlight, kept his eyes glued to the ground. Tired and hungry, read his mind under the faded stoplight, his dog well fed and smiling proud. If silence is golden, call me gilded. Silence is golden, call me gilded. If silence is golden, call me gilded. If silence is golden, call me gilded. I am quiet in love, my heart beats what you speak of. Oh, love I can show, but may fail to tell you so. If love remain unheard, if love remain unheard, if love remain unheard, may it be known.
Such a gorgeous piece. Call Me Gilded. That is on the new album Stranger by Band of Heathens. And I love losing myself in that one. Again, just powerful altogether. But I will tell you why I picked that one in particular. The conversation of actions speaking louder than words. Powerful sentiments, especially right about now. Really, that's been around forever, sure. You know, and it keeps coming up again and again. But just some really, that's a strong message. And yet, you put it to this gorgeous music. Tell me a little bit about that process. Some people are just very blatant with messages. Others, this to me is more like you've refined it into this piece right here. It's very difficult for me to talk about music. I listen to it. I don't talk about it. So what I'm what I'm saying is there is definitely something powerful in there, but you have this refined way of putting it in this package. You know, I want to know more about the process. the inspiration.
I think you're right about you listen to music, you don't talk about it. It's like
Exactly.
the Frank Zappa quote about talking about music's like dancing about architecture.
Ta-da!
Right? So, yeah, and it's, I think, well, we all have a perspective on things, and I think that a song is a way to put your perspective into, it's either concise or it becomes something really broad. And then again, it's like, sort of becomes left up to the listener, I think, in a way to interpret. And that's kind of what's, I think, missing sometimes in music. A lot of people want to have like a message song, but even the best message songs, they have a message, but what the exact message is necessarily should also be up to the individual listener. Music is very much a choose your own adventure activity. I think that's why the people that love music love it, because they have something, it has a sort of connectivity with other people that love music, but it also has a very personal, they have a personal relationship with it, that
Yeah.
they can enjoy. And I mean, Jesse wrote this song, so he could speak more on where he was coming from in terms of like maybe this song specifically, as far as.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of second that sentiment from Ed, but yeah, this song in particular, it was just more of a. I mean, the message was like I had the idea of the point I wanted to get across, and I will also say that as much as saying like words sometimes don't add up to the way actions do, I would also say that the sentiment in this song is a little bit more like it shares the sentiment of making sure that the people you love and care about actually are getting the messages that you're trying to send. Sometimes it's not so clear, and sometimes it's you just hope that everybody knows how you feel about them.
Yeah.
And this one, the music part of it, this one was just kind of streamlined. I don't know that I can.
Of course.
It really, yeah.
And Jesse, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I absolutely, in terms of music, I'm always talking about how we project, how the listener projects, and I am constantly doing that. And someone will be, and the songwriter, it's not fair to go that it's about this particular subject.
No, I think Ed. I mean, you guys. Yeah, it's one of those things where I think that's one of the best part about good songs is there might be 10 people who have the same favorite song, and that song might mean a completely different thing to every single one of them.
That's a great song when that happens.
Yeah.
And this song is interesting too because it is a beautiful piece musically, but this was a song that I think really benefited from our whole sort of sequestering in Portland, where we were all living together for a couple of weeks, because we had this song, it was really nice, and we started talking about it, and it was like, this is kind of like, I feel like we're up in Laurel Canyon or something, and Joni Mitchell is telling Stephen Stills to sing a song, and Graham Nash and David Crosby. It's like, this needs to have this kind of, group sing-along dynamic to it. So the night before we went in to cut it, we sat in the living room and just kind of were like, okay, what if there's a harmony here, and then Trevor comes in from the other room and he's like, oh, it should be like so it's like, it was a very cool collaborative kind of, exactly.
I actually think that we weren't in the living room, we were actually crowded in a weird hallway, doorway, bedroom area for no reason whatsoever, but yeah, it just had to happen when it did.
It's brilliant. It doesn't matter where you're at, it needs to happen right where you're at.
Right.
And may I say, the vocals are stunning. They are exquisite. I was even thinking that on Vietnam. Just the marriage of everybody coming together like that. It's sounding wonderful.
Thank you.
I think I might be creeping up to another song, she said as she rubbed her hands together. It's just, well, actually, talking earlier about life on the road, I was looking at 2 tracks in particular, Asheville, Nashville, Austin, and South by Somewhere. Wow. I mean, life on the road. Going back to life on the road, adventures on the road, but then that longing when you love touring, but you reach this point. It's not even exhaustion. It's more like, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. I love what I'm doing. What the hell is this? Someone, please get my brains. They just spilled out of this ear. Tell me about those 2 in particular. I'm glad that you have them on the album. But I think even though to me they seem to touch upon the same idea, how you're living on the road, the things you experience on the road, but they're 2 different tracks. They go about it in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, if one's more literal, Asheville, Nashville, Austin would be more literal in terms of like it's that literally is like my itinerary if I'm booking a plane ticket or a rental car or something. And I was talking to someone the other day about like everywhere we go now, I start to think of those cities in terms of the 3-letter airport code that they are, you know. And that was how I was seeing that song and started. South by Somewhere is, I guess there is a travel component to it, but that's a much more internal kind of song to me. That to me was more about this idea of, you know, we're really fortunate. We love playing music, and we've been fortunate that we get to make our way through the world playing music, and it supports us financially and spiritually in all ways. But the challenge is once you get what you want, how do you stay in touch with why you wanted to have it in the first place? And how do you stay plugged into wanting to continue doing it and explore further into it? You know, I mean, after, you know, being on the road for 20-something years and this band being 15 years and us making tons of records, having all these amazing experiences, like what can you go back to inspire you to keep wanting to do it again? You know, because at a certain point it becomes more than you playing in front of people and them clapping for you and telling you that they love your music, or whatever your motivation might have been at the beginning. That will change over time, and then it's like you need to find new ways to be inspired and motivated.
There was someone very close to me who told me in so many words, I don't want this to become the job.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's haunted me to this day.
Yeah.
That was years ago, and he's like, I cannot have this turn into, well, time to report. That's almost like a slow death. I don't mean to be so dramatic, but it really, I mean, why are you doing it?
Right, and it's hard to, it's sort of a fine line of not wanting, you don't want to complain about it, because I'm not, because we're privileged to do what we love to do, and some people have incredibly difficult days of work every day. But I think in the service of wanting to do this to the best of your abilities, it's like it's sort of almost like a mantra where it's like I have to dig further internally to find, you know, more things to mine, to have things to say, to, you know, to be present in what you're doing, to want to keep pushing it forward.
Glad you talk about being present. I'm going to bring that up in a little bit. But first, what shall we do next? I was looking at those two tracks, but what do you think?
We can do one of those, sure.
You want to do one of those?
Which one would you guys like to do? Give a preference?
It's like,
South by Somewhere.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
go for it. Go for it. In the studio with Ben of Heathens, my name is Laurie Gallardo. Thanks so much for joining us.
Wish I could go way back when the truth was real and I could touch her skin. But I'm caught here in the middle of the world, behind the movers and the shakers and the glamorous girl. Stuck behind the movers and the shakers and the glamorous girl. But they don't give a good damn for me. It ain't cool to be blue in the land of the free. Said it ain't cool to be blue in the land of the free. Stuff going south by somewhere, north by no one. I'm running out of time, missing the fire when I live with me. town sounding in, trying to pick up my life, trying to pick up my life, trying to pick up my life, yeah, trying to pick up my
Good to the last drop. I love it. South by Somewhere. And I gotta admit, the title grabbed me. It grabbed me for all the reasons you would expect. Austin, South by Somewhere.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Little pause. We're gonna pause the action for a second.
Take a breather.
Yeah.
Oh,
How y'all doing?
good. We got a little slapback. I think it's gone now. Though.
She's awesome.
Take a break from watching ourselves to look at ourselves and talk to ourselves.
Looking good, dude. Looking real good. We're all wearing different stuff today, so it's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. South by Somewhere,
awesome.
originally titled South by Southwest.
That's right.
How's everybody doing out there in the comments land? We're a little more than halfway. We've been following along with y'all. We just wanted to check in, let you know that we're still here live. Any questions about the record, the making of the record? Someone, there was I think Matt Desenberg asked about what effect that was on the guitar at the beginning of South by Somewhere. I think it was a phaser and tremolo of some kind. Yeah, this is fun. Laurie is a great interview. So I forgot about this interview. Or not that I forgot about it, but I haven't watched it since we did it. So it's cool to kind of dive back in.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. She's just cool.
Scott McLean says, "What inspired the yellow vinyl?" I'm gonna go get something.
The yellow vinyl. I think it was a good color choice to complement the artwork. That was I think that was the inspiration. We actually had a mock-up of the artwork where yellow was the more dominant color. I think we did maybe 3 mocks. There was like the blue that we ended up with. I think there was a green, possibly, and there was a yellow as well. But Gordy there modeling the Stranger 2020 vinyl pressing.
You notice there was one mock-up that had kind of this green as the color of the vinyl and the yellow sticker in the middle. And then, because that kind of looks like a record there. And then I think we just liked the pop of the yellow so much that we went with yellow. But shout out to our friend Jason Ambrose, who helped us design this whole thing. Did a really good job. Had a bunch of great ideas.
Well done, Jason.
Yeah.
I did see one other question, if that's all right. I did see something about somebody asked if we record all together or separately. Do you guys record separately or play together?
For this record, almost actually, I think everything was played together in some capacity. With some songs, what you're hearing is perhaps a complete live take. And then with some songs, like sometimes Gordy and I will go back and re-sing the vocals or something like that, or there's a lot of different things that happen ultimately. But generally speaking, yes, I would say that. I don't know. Do we have a percentage amount, you guys? Or I'd say most of the time we're all in the room playing. If not all of us are playing together, we're all actively participating in creating the track.
Yeah, agreed. Especially, this record in particular, since we had already, like we talked about a little bit, we had already gotten together and played the songs a little, maybe whether it was just getting the right take for the demo or whatever, but we had a little bit of experience playing these songs together already, so we tried to keep it. I feel like we did a pretty good job of keeping it as live as possible.
Hey, Richie, Gordy S. Hair is in the market for a nice record player. Any suggestions?
Gordy S. Hair. Where to begin? Not really, but there's so many variables. I would say like for your basic all around great record player, look at some of the Audio Technica stuff. They have like I don't know what the model is, but it's an automatic turntable. I think it's like $100, but you can go to their website. It's probably on Amazon too. But yeah, Audio Technica has a good Audio Technica. Sorry.
What's going on there, Gordy?
I'm getting texts about my shirt. I'm just.
Oh, cool.
It wouldn't be from that, would it?
No, he doesn't watch this, dude.
Cool
that's
story.
right.
You guys
let's see here. Any other good questions?
I saw questions about the guitars. People want to know about the guitars.
Yeah, there's some questions about the Rickenbacker, like the year that it is and blah, blah, blah. Maybe, Gordy, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Ooh.
It's a trick, though. It's a trick. It's really a trick answer, isn't it?
I'm not sure I'm supposed to even say. I could get somebody in trouble here.
Yeah, don't. What's a good year for that Rickenbacker to be?
Somewhere between 68 and 70.
Exactly.
Well, that's not
Does that mean 1969?
The cork soakers, huh? Hey
man. Okay, well, if we're not supposed to talk about it, can there is a great question for Trevor, and it was from Paul Amy. What kind of wine is recommended when listening to this record?
Wow.
Is
$2 check.
Is that a joke?
No.
That was a real question.
Man, I would think. Well, my wife just chimed in from the background and said Beaujolais, but no. I want something a little more full-bodied, but definitely French. I'm gonna go ahead with something like something from the Côte d'Or area. I'm gonna go the Rhone River Valley. I'm gonna say like a Gigondas or a Vacheras, a nice. Yeah, nice chewy French red. That's my pick.
chewy French red.
I like it.
Yeah, chewy, yummy.
Yeah.
This time of year, for sure.
That seems like a potential song title for the next record.
Yeah, that and I like to say Vacaras and Gigondas. Those are fun words to say. Gigondas, Vacaras.
Les compétents.
You're what the French call les incompetents.
What?
Got a budget, maybe the Chateau Neuf de Pape.
Hello.
So so Bob Gutenplan says, where'd it go?
Any chance you'll re-release some of your catalog on vinyl?
Great question. It should all be on vinyl, right?
There's probably some stuff maybe potentially sold out of the merchandise store right now.
Yeah,
But
I think somewhere on there.
I think all of the studio records that we have done are now available on vinyl. If they're not available in the online store, that means they're probably in the process of being repressed right now. That would be my best guess. But they will. Good question, and yes, they will all be there for your listening pleasure at some point in time.
And Joe Friedel, what's it like playing lead guitar on that 12-string Rickenbacker? Got to be different than a regular 6. Yes, I don't bend strings typically. I use a lot of open strings. And I also love to put fuzz pedal on the 12-string electric. What do you think, Ed? Playing electric or playing lead on a 12-string electric. Thoughts?
I think the fuzz mantra is a good one to extend. To just put fuzz on everything. It helps the cause. Yeah, I would agree. Not very much bending, but since you have the double string activity, there's some interesting harmonic stuff that happens when you play open strings. It's a really nice flavor. It's cool when we're in the studio and we have access to that stuff and we can kind of paint all the pictures with the colors.
Well, should we dive back in?
Dive back, and I'd encourage folks, as this is rolling, if you guys have questions, definitely put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to reply to y'all. But thanks.
Chime in.
Thanks for tuning in. We're having a good time with this. This is fun.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Thanks, everybody.
Stranger. And again, guys, thanks so much for having me in here. I'm trying not to go on and on, but I can't help it.
Thank you.
Just taking it to another area before. Well, actually, since I've been going, I want to talk about the title. I do want to talk about the album title, and I cannot believe where I went with it. I'm just like, I could have just skipped it entirely. I could have done nothing about it, but I have to ask about this now. Did you come up with the name of the album before the pandemic? Just out of curiosity? Ish?
Yes.
Just a
well,
yes.
So it was originally there's a song that we recorded called Strangers. And we started talking about that as an album title before the pandemic.
Okay.
And that record, or that song, ended up not making the record when it got into, we mixed them all and then tried to put them in an order, and that one didn't make it, but we still liked that idea. And then that, we just, in talking about it, that got shortened from Strangers to Stranger, which became a little bit more powerful and with more meanings in it to me. But yeah, I don't remember the exact timing
I
of it.
actually can remember the exact timing of it, and I know it was pre-pandemic because I was sitting at a bar while we were all on a call because it was the bar around the corner from the hospital where my girlfriend just had surgery, and so I had been spending all my time at the hospital, and I remember going to the bar to have this call. So I know it was not during the pandemic. Although in Nashville, I guess you still could be at a bar, but yeah.
That's very vivid.
Yeah, I definitely. It was also the day after the Nashville tornado.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
So it all just starts coming together.
I remember all of it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, though. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, surgery, what?
Yeah.
Wow. And the tornado. Just
2020.
Yeah.
And 2020, pretty much in general, summarizing. So the reason why, and Gordy, maybe this does mean extra to you, so I'll get into it. So I was given some lovely notes, gentlemen. Fair enough. And Really, it touched upon two things that I was like, my ears were pricking up. What? Tell me more. Albert Camus. Albert Camus here in the States, in reference to work that came out, that was published in 1942, The Stranger, which I did get to do a deep dive into a long time ago, and was happy to revisit again. And that led me to Viggo Mortensen doing a reading of The Human Crisis.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and he's great. And but again, I mean, I'll let you know what the connection is right there in a minute. But also, Robert Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land, 1961 science fiction. Again, the subject matter, I'm not going to get started. I made a promise I wouldn't do that because your eyes would glaze over. But just so many connections here, and just hearing Viggo talking about, you know, there is a human crisis, as Camus actually said, this disinterest or this blasé attitude over human suffering. And I'm like, Stranger, what a great name for an album. And it just, like, tendrils just kept on going. And I wonder, Gordy, is that what maybe you were thinking about?
Well,
maybe
I mean,
not.
This was kind of a band. This was
Band
kind of a
decision.
discussion that we had. We kind of went over this a lot. But I think that's when what started as a song title. As soon as we took the S off, like you said, all of a sudden it started having lots of layers of meaning, and getting into the literature. You know, that old Albert Camus book. You know, the existential crisis of, you know, meaning and what matters and suffering and human life. I mean, these are all, you know, things we're dealing with in a pandemic and just in the general climate. And so I think that I mean, I don't, again, like a song, I don't want to say like, hey, this is what it's about,
No,
because
exactly.
it's, you know, it's a loaded word that I think goes pretty deep.
Which is, again, why I'm having fun bringing this up.
Yeah.
Not fun, I shouldn't say that, but just the rabbit hole that I went down just kept going. And this was only last night.
It's a great Leon Russell song, too.
And a great Leon Russell. See?
I mean, that's what I mean. That was like the conversation when we were talking about it. Just started. It's like the onion bloom, you know.
Yeah.
Just layers and layers.
I mean, onion bloom, but for me, literally, it was a tree and the roots kept going. And that's a great thing about it. It seems perfect in a very unsettling way. I love the album, but Stranger, I was like, yes, the times, the situations, definitely. And then you also have songs as well. You know, I'm talking about being present in the moment, which is the other song that I was thinking of. Before the Day is Done. The track that finishes the album. Oh my God. That was beautiful. And to me, it really was talking about being present, being here in the moment. A lot of us are so focused, not even a day in advance, but just further on down the road with not even being present here for our loved ones. I'm wondering if that might have been, you know, behind that particular piece.
Yeah, that was kind of where the idea started. You know, the other day, Ed and I were talking, and he said, you know, time is the one thing you just can't get back, and you know, you can't buy it, you can't buy more of it. It just goes by, and it's always moving, and this is really all we've got here is like time together. And it's funny how that sentiment has, I don't know, it seems like it keeps getting more relevant, but at the time, I think this is the last song I wrote before going to Portland. I wrote it maybe the week before we went up there, and it just seemed to kind of tie into some of the other things, like today is our last tomorrow, and this idea of, you know, before the day is done. I don't know, and we put them together on the record in order, you know, because I felt like they connected. So, yeah, it's that's one that like has powerful meaning for me personally, but it's hard for me to put into words other than the words of the song to like explain it. It's like kind of difficult for me, you know.
I understand. I can relate. It's just, how can you even discuss something that you can barely put into words on a song? That's always been my thing. And yeah, today is our last tomorrow. Wow, that is so rocking to me. And you're like, yay, that's the song you lift your drink to and you're partying. I have to admit, it also depressed me. What a reaction. And again, just a story in that in itself. I mean, it's almost, and then you're like singing along and going, oh God, what a terrible thing, but yet you can also appreciate today is our last tomorrow. You're not necessarily being negative, but you have to you gotta live like you mean it. You SOB, you gotta keep going. And I think that's been getting me up in the morning and helping me sleep a little slightly better at night, maybe if not completely, but I don't know. Give me your take, because that was, while I dig the music, I was like, oh man, just listening to these words are driving me crazy at the same time.
Yeah, I think of that as a few different ways. It's if today is our last tomorrow, let's live it up like we're going out in style. But also there's like a bit of a fire alarm drill on like hysteria of how everything's coming to an end every day, and it's sort of that song's kind of also about our, I guess societally and also individually, our inability to filter information.
Yeah.
Everything comes at you with like equal force, and it's hard to sort of compartmentalize what really should be getting your full attention and what really should just be something that's passing you like a car on the road or something.
Social media.
There you go. You said it.
It can be a powerful tool for good. And it can drive you insane, and if you don't take breaks occasionally, at least occasionally. Everyone that I see talks about, I had to put the phone down.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
For your sanity.
You got to live in your own reality. And that is a form of reality, but it's pretty dystopian.
Yeah. Doesn't help all the time. I'm here with Band of Heathens. Which ones shall we do? Those two? Would you like to do those tracks that we just talked about?
Great. Yeah, should we do Before the Day is Done and then
Sure.
Surprise Our Last Tomorrow?
I think we can do that.
We're here right now. Feels good to have each other, but when it's time to go, we'll give the feeling to another. Worry be gone. You're not for anyone. Living for tomorrow. Before the day is done. When you're looking for hope, someone to hang on to, you could reach for a brother in need instead of staring down at your shoes. Thoughts and prayers like carrots in the sun,
living for tomorrow. For the day is done. I need you here with me right now. Somehow I need you here with me right now. Somehow. Love has crossed your heart, and somebody done you wrong. You could bury the hatchet away, it's too heavy to bring along. Yesterday's gone, but everyone that came before is here with you. Every time you walk the floor, time goes by like dreams, always on the run, living for tomorrow. For the day is done. I need you here with me right now. Somehow I need you here with me right now. Somehow I need you here with me right now. Somehow I need you here with me right now. Somehow. We're here right now. It feels good to have each other. But when it's time to go, we'll give this feeling to another.
But I tell you, it's gorgeous. I'm in the studio with a band of Heathens, just kind of very happily nerding out on all the awesomeness going on. I'm not shy about saying that. And usually, I warn people in advance. Beware of the nerd. She's gonna let loose. And she means it.
You're in good company.
Yeah.
Awesome!
Band of nerds.
Band of nerds.
Some super nerd composed of parts of lesser nerds.
That makes sense. That would be a super nerd.
As we travel from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Absurdism. It's good for you. We just heard Before the Day is Done, and I do believe we are going to skyrocket in Today is Our Last Tomorrow. So good to talk about the new album, Stranger. And guys, I want to say thanks again for letting me in here and hang out with you and to talk about the new music, and congratulations on the new album.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
fiction and fable. So California's burning, the earth will soon stop turning. The horses out of the stable. The world's crumbling down, can't you hear the sound? Today is our last tomorrow. 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 Round the beautiful wall, 1,000 miles tall, protect what we have taken. 'Cause if we let them in, our way of life will end. Some people are forsaken. Yesterday was good, wouldn't change it if I could. Today is our last tomorrow. 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 Hey, come on, we got the thing out here. Don't remember it this way. I heard my father say, I don't like where we're going. And what I think is worse is the eternal curse. In death we're all unknowing. Yesterday was good, wouldn't change it if I could. Today is our last tomorrow. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, the way we get now. Today is our last tomorrow. Today is our last tomorrow. Today is our last tomorrow. I said today is our last tomorrow. Today, not tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Today is our last. Yeah. I said, hold on, baby. Adios.
Sounds like a party to me. Hold on, let me get some Everclear. That was delightful and badass all at the same time. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you,
Laurie.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Band of Heathens, get that album, why don't you? It's titled Stranger. My name is Laurie Gallardo. It's been such a pleasure to host this fine performance and a lovely chat. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank right.
Woo!
All right.
You there?
Woo!
All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, I'm curious. That was kind of an experiment for a Tuesday night. I'm curious what all y'all thought out there watching the show. Was that more fun than a regular show? Just different? A nice change up? I don't know. Maybe we'll do more of these kind of pre-recorded concerts with a little commentary. If y'all enjoy it, would love to hear what you think. Let's see here. Did you guys have fun?
I had a great time.
Lots.
Hot
a great-
time.
Yeah, Laurie does she's a great interview, and I want to say thanks to Laurie Gallardo for doing that. And yeah, there's a question about, do we have pay-per-view set up for the New Year's Eve show? No, we don't have anything set up. We're still trying to figure out what it's going to be. Jesse's in charge.
I'm in charge of that. I guess we'll see, but I do think it's going to look similar to this, whereas you can tune in on the channels and view at however you view the Good Time Supper Club, but I believe there will probably be a little bit of variable there, so just stay tuned on the socials. We'll keep you posted.
Cool.
With Jesse in charge, it's bound to be a great time.
It's bound to probably happen.
It's bound to be.
Pam Bricker says, how about we have a huge party in Austin that everyone who has watched your show for all these months comes for the show once it's safe to travel and be together? I think that's a great idea. We're actually trying to figure out what is going to become of this family that we have kind of been so fortunate to find here on Tuesday nights. But we're going to figure something out where we can all stick together.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, Richard has been hard at work reviewing the year of the Good Time Supper Club. We feel so fortunate that 2020 is almost over. And, and here we are nearing the finish line, and we feel grateful. It's been obviously a strange year and a difficult year, but we have each other and we have y'all, and we're so grateful for our Tuesday night. It's been awesome. And Richard did a little editing to make a little year in review.
Yeah, there's obviously way too much to not just have to watch it all. So I tried to put in some fun little bits. But really, if there's a specific moment that you recall that you'd like to see again, just keep in mind that all of our shows are available to watch on YouTube. I think they get archived on Facebook as well, but there's how many shows have we done now?
This is 38 tonight.
Yeah, there's 38 shows on YouTube going all the way back to the beginning. So if you want to relive any of your favorite Supper Club moments, just go to our YouTube channel, and they're all there.
Wow.
Woo.
But if you don't want to do that and you just want the I think we're going to end off tonight with a highlight reel that Rich made. So anyway, thank y'all so much for hanging with us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday as well. Stay safe.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Thanks,
2021. Next show. We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or we'll see you New Year's Eve with Jesse and the remote transmission here in review.
The remote retrospective.
That's right.
We can all say goodbye to 20 Twompers. And
Twomp twomps.
20 Twomps. Oh.
All right.
All right. Good night, y'all. See you next
Cheers.
week.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy New Year.
I see a little silhouette of a man, Scaramouche, Scaramouche, can you do the fandango?
Hey, remember the lyrics. Don't look at the cameras too much. You can do this. You can do this today. But just enough to make eye contact. It's a good time. Hey. Hey. Dudes. Oh. Hey. Hey. I think you're live.
Tuesday already?
Welcome to another week of the Good Time Supper Club with the band of Heathens.
On New Year's Eve, a man brought a black cat to the ring to steal his crown. On spinning up fought that beast all night till they finally put the panther in the ground. I really want to show you, Lord, that it won't take long, my Lord, my sweet Lord.
You got a pretty cosmic looking space. There's like a little space scene behind you. Is this where you're doing a lot of recording and making some magic going on back there? What's happening?
Well, I wouldn't call it magic exactly, but this is where I'm recording. But here, hold on, I'll show you where I'm really at. Look, guys. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? The hell with Earth. I quit. I'm really in space right now.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from you, baby. Just can't get away from you, baby. No matter how I try. 5 hours down with a sunrise frown, lightning in your shoes. 1 foot in the ether with the LA County blues.
I'm gonna go to Slidell and look for my joy. Go to Slidell and look for my joy. Maybe to Slidell I found my joy.
Hi.
This is a party.
Well,
Right? Or it's like a just
Blip, 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 blip,
blip,
blip.
blip, blip.
I hate the fucking delay on this thing. It drives me crazy. Yeah, you got to work hard to play hard to get stoned. You be smarter, left, right, up, down, now. Why, where do we go? You know, money's gone and rent come to a life will beat you black and blue, and still you ain't got nothing to show. No, 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 no. I've given you the best of me. Now you want the rest of me.
Tonight we're gonna make an old cocktail called an orange blossom, a gimlet mezcal Negroni. This is your poor man's old-fashioned margarita with 1800 reposado. Cheers, everybody.
I need you here with me right now. Somehow, how can you mend a broken heart?
How can you stop the rain from falling down?
That song was, of course, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, which was written by Barry and Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees. And it's the opening track on the record we're going to talk about today, which is Trafalgar.
Read the writing on the wall. say too much, reveal it all. Toss your dreams in the stream.
Oh, and that's why I tell you why. I got love to share, but none to spare right now.
Well, if I cannot sing my song, won't you get up, wanna sing it for me, baby? Oh yeah. In times I come undone, pick me up, put me back together again.
We used to play for acid, now we play for Clive. That's Jack Straw, a little bit of Jack Straw. The opener for my show this week, which is from October 18th, 1983, Portland, Maine, the Cumberland Civic Center, the site of many, many Killer Dead shows.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
Oh, yeah.
How many Santas are there?
Oh, they're everywhere.
5.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends.
Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, the good times with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. A little help from my friends in the good time supper club Tuesday night.